The mainstream media and the internet sometimes withholds information that you and I both deserve to know. I have spent countless hours gathering many videos that you and I both need to watch together.
Israel has bombed a hospital, and these are infants being removed via incubators. This comes one day after a confirmed over 100 schoolgirls, mostly between the ages of 9 and 12, were killed in an Israeli attack on an elementary school.
Confirmed to not be the real Jim Carrey. It's just come out that this was an impersonator. The person who's taken credit for the performance is Alexis Stone, who's a known artist who has done this before. Alexis stating that they had done it on Instagram not long ago and showing a bit of the process. They're better known for the work from Kim Kardashian, turning her into a lizard. Here's some of the other work from the past, and obviously impersonating known people is something that this person has done before. But I mean, to be able to pull off Jim Carrey, well done. A lot of people were fooled. Obviously, the internet went wild and sort of looked at whoever this person was and said, hell no, that's not him. And good on those people, and good on you for being called a conspiracy theorist, and then turn out to be correct.
Generally speaking, with all these rumors and speculations about, these celebrities not being who they really are, some are saying they're doppelgangers, some are saying aliens, some may even say clones. I don't know at this point. Next week, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that Jim Carrey was actually being impersonated by someone, but it was actually a clone. I don't know what to think at this point.
This has to be the craziest ChatGPT use case that I've ever seen. So you start by coming over to ChatGPT and clicking on the little voice mode. Then click these 3 dots and then share screen. You're now going to be able to broadcast your screen to ChatGPT so it can help you with tasks. Check this out.
All right, so I want you to tell me how to change the time on my phone.
Absolutely, let's do it. So it looks like you're in the settings menu. You'll want to
No way, it's so
which is right there in
weird.
the middle of the screen. And once you do that, then you'll head to date and time, which you'll find
That's
if you
scary.
scroll just a little bit down. Let me know if
You
you
can
need
see
anything
what
else.
you're looking
Thank you.
at on your
That's obviously
phone.
just a super simple example, but imagine having it summarize your emails or even do your homework. Follow me and save this video if you want to see more use cases like this.
There's a blood moon total lunar eclipse happening on March 3rd. So in parts of America, Oceania, and Asia, you will be able to see a total blood moon lunar eclipse. You'll be able to see it very, very well if you're on the West Coast in America specifically. You'll be able to see this at around 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. If you're out of the viewing area, people will still be streaming it, so you will still be able to see it just on a stream. Better be sure you see it because this is the last blood moon before 2028.
Guys, I just found something absolutely crazy with this shooting, and you are not going to believe it. Now, this is a still frame of this object behind Charlie, but first I want to show you this video. Listen and notice the flash. This video is from behind him.
From behind.
Watch right here.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
See that?
Yeah.
One more time.
Flash.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Now, yeah.
Now, I've slowed it down here for you guys.
Flash.
Now, here's the slow motion here. And then impact. One more time. Check this out, guys. Boom. Impact. Now, I've heard a lot of theories out there. Of course, they're theories of people saying that the way that he was bleeding out suggests that he could have been hit from behind and the bullet exited through the front of his neck. Again, this is just hypothesis. I have no idea, guys. Just a guy reporting. This could all just be, coincidence. Just like all of this is, and all of this is. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Peace and love.
Hello, how are you? I would like to see if I could bring little Joey, my son little Joey here. Is there paperwork or can I check out the daycare? No? Why can't I check out the daycare? Okay, but if I can't get paperwork or anything to submit my son little Joey to come in here to daycare?
Do you ever think to yourself, like, man, I'm working really hard at my job and I'm barely scraping by. Maybe if I was a Somalian Muslim, then I could make $3 million to do nothing. Is it just me who thinks that?
A kid's YouTube song with over 1 million views is brainwashing kids with 666 imagery. And I'm going to tell you why this is so crazy. But before I do, you need to protect your kids from what they're listening to. That's why I use Verso AI, because it filters out all profanity. If you want it, comment app, I'll send it to you. Now, this song has an innocent looking 666 cartoon figure running around, causing trouble, doing all sorts of stuff. And it even has kids chanting 666 without them knowing the meaning. But the devil acts like an angel of light to deceive people. If you're a parent, pay close attention to the content your kids are consuming.
Why can't liquid metal break down this McDonald's burger?
That's
the liquid metal.
That
and
can't be
almost
real.
nothing is happening to this burger.
That cannot be real, dude.
Watch when they pour it on the meat. Nothing happened. It just balances off.
Right.
Like nothing is happening. Stay weird, yo.
So you're telling me right now, if I went to McDonald's and I bought a Big Mac and I lit it on fire, it would not catch on fire? If this is true, what are they even made of? Because for all I know, that should all be flammable. What are we ingesting?
It looks like everyone was right. This was indeed not Jim Carrey, and here is proof. Okay, so just to bring everyone up to speed, Jim Carrey went viral for making an appearance at the Honorary César Awards in Paris. Everyone was saying that Jim Carrey got cloned because this does not look like the Jim Carrey that we know. Now, fast forward to a few days later, he was seen out in the public in Paris. And photographers just straight up asked him, hey, are you actually Jim Carrey or are you a clone? And Jim Carrey seemingly brushed it aside, like he acted like he had no idea what that guy was talking about. But finally, we do have proof that this was indeed not Jim Carrey at the César Awards in Paris. It was this individual, Alexa Stone. For those of you who are not aware of this individual, this person dresses up in like prosthetic makeup as other people. If you scroll through the IG, you can see that this individual has impersonated other people. For example, this was this individual impersonating Jack Nicholson in 2024. As you can see, it does look like him, even though it's a little bit jarring. Here you can see that he made an IG post about Jim Carrey. Alexa Stone is Jim Carrey. Here's some of the after pics, but this was actually what he used as a prosthetic to look like Jim Carrey. And if you go to the IG story, this is what the 3D model of Jim Carrey would look like. So there you have it, guys. That was indeed not Jim Carrey at the Paris Awards. It was this individual, Alexa Stone.
All American bases in the Middle East are either destroyed or under attack. This is footage from Al Udeid, the biggest base in the Middle East, and it has been blown up in flames from Iranian missiles. This air base in Iraq is in flames and under attack right now from Iraqi militias. In Kuwait, American air defenses are non-existent as Iranian drones are slamming into it every hour. Here in Bahrain, an American base hit again with an Iranian missile. It now appears also that the naval base in Bahrain has been completely destroyed. This strike right here is the reason that the Americans on that radar blowing up cannot detect anything. This was the biggest radar in the Middle East for U.S. bases. There are only a few American defense systems left, as you can see right here, with everything else being relocated to Israel to protect them instead. The U.S. has probably a day or two left of air defenses before they are completely overrun. It's already been confirmed in Bahrain, all American bases are out of air defenses, as you see smoke still rising on the naval one. Follow me for more updates.
Did you hear about the boat that mysteriously emerged from the ice capsulages in Antarctica? It was fully encased, frozen in an ice wall down there, but since the capsulages are melting, it released it, and they believe that it might be from the 1400s. They're trying to figure out if it's like a Captain Cook-esque ship. A lot of people are scared to go close to it because they say as they get closer, they can hear voices and screaming coming from the boat, and it's super eerie. Right now, it is headed off to the coast of Chile, and so different governors are telling the other world governors, hey, you gotta go take care of this ship. But I'll let you know as we find out more.
Okay guys, Iran is now being hit with a major wave of cyber attacks following the initial strikes from the US and Israel. So it looks like it's an attack from multiple different angles. In fact, one of Iran's apps for tracking prayer times has been hacked, and it started sending Iranian citizens notifications like help has arrived and it's the time for reckoning. On top of that, a number of Iran's state news broadcasters are also being hacked and they are currently down. Now, this could certainly cause confusion, as you'd imagine, from the public wanting to know what the hell is going on, but their news source is inaccessible, and it could also potentially drive the people of Iran to look for other news sources to find out, potentially ones outside of the country. A lot of developments coming in right now, so make sure you follow. I'll keep you
scopolamine in the Epstein emails. Ask Chris about my trumpet plants at the nursery. Now, the trumpet plants is what scopolamine comes from. Scopolamine is a drug. They nicknamed it the devil's breath. It's like a powder. You can blow it into somebody's face, and it basically takes away all of their free will. It does seem like something that Epstein would use.
In 2016, NYPD's Special Victims Division began investigating Anthony Weiner's laptop, and the hard drive was called Life Insurance, and it had a video on it called Frazzle Drip. I've only heard things, but in 2019, All within 2 months, 9 officers from NYPD supposedly killed themselves, all by gun wounds to the head. Then they also had a deputy chief and the head of investigations do the same thing within 24 hours of each other. So, what in the world? This is an anomaly within an anomaly. Like, how is this not national news? How? What the heck is going on? Oh my gosh. What is going on?
When did lizards start breathing fire? So they're at a beach. This guy starts filming this lizard. Watch. It really makes me wonder if lizards are actually evolving into literal dragons now. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Stay weird.
Being reported that an Iranian strike has now hit Dubai International Airport. This video that was just posted roughly 30 minutes ago appears to verify that claim. It shows a terminal building heavily damaged with smoke filling the air. Like I said, this just happened 30 minutes ago. We don't know much beyond that. Follow to stay updated.
Whatever this boy encountered must have been absolutely terrifying, and I still can't wrap my mind around what he must have experienced while he was lost in the woods. This is 3-year-old Riker Webb, and one day he was playing with his dog in his backyard when he seemingly vanished into thin air. Police did a very extensive search for him. Neighbors got involved, they had dogs, they had helicopters, all trying to find this toddler. But it wasn't until 2 days later when he reappeared looking like this. Now, it's very obvious that something traumatic has happened to this child, and it may just be the shock from having been lost. But what's even stranger is that Riker was found just 2.5 miles from where he went missing in an area that had already been searched. And he was allegedly wearing a different outfit than the one he disappeared in. So this 3-year-old had supposedly wandered off by himself and has somehow survived 2 days alone outside with rain and freezing temperatures in Montana. And once he's found around the same area that's already been searched, he's wearing someone else's clothing. Riker's brother actually had a TikTok account at one point and posted a video asking Riker if he could remember anything from that time. He responded by saying that he remembers seeing a house in the woods where someone lived. According to Riker, someone let him come into the house so that he could, quote, live. What do you guys think happened to this little boy?
Hillary Clinton did a BBC interview last night to address the claims about Bill and Jeffrey Epstein. And this is what she said.
We have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about.
Really? Someone that just took a couple of rides on Jeffrey's airplane, it's crazy that his name shows up 1,192 times in the files. That there's photo collage albums titled Clinton Trips, New York, LA, and London. But yeah, I'm sure it was just philanthropy. What do you think? As always, let me know down below.
Did a test to see how they could activate the hardest punch you could do. They took an athlete, right? He was a fighter. The first test they did, they let him punch normally. Boom, punched it, that's a test. Next, they injected him with adrenaline and decided to see how much harder he could punch. Did an adrenaline shot, his body tensed up, his muscles tightened, he punched it, boom! It hit 600 pounds of force.
Oh my gosh.
And then they did another test.
Yeah.
They didn't let him do any adrenaline.
Okay.
Instead, they took a coach. And the coach was telling him all of these things to motivate him and get him hyped up. And then he went to go hit the bag, hit it. With the coach's motivation, that fighter hit 1,000 pounds of force. Wow. That was the hardest punch they tested all day.
Motivation?
Was coach's motivation.
Is this an actual ghost of the woman in white? You can hear her crying. Oh, ¿qué fue? This might be the first time anyone's got anything like this on camera. God help anybody who stops and helps that woman. Stay weird.
I don't.
Is the snow outside even real?
All right, so since there was a bunch of weirdos in the comment section saying that, oh, don't do a transition. We don't trust you.
So grabs the snow, goes inside.
We don't trust you with the transition. Okay. There's a snowball. Right here.
Or is
it's
it
right here? Hold on. Hold on. All right. No transition, guys. You guys think that I'm swapping out fucking snowballs and shit. Weirdos.
It doesn't melt.
Look at that.
How does it burn?
Smells like plastic. Literally smells like plastic. Probably because it is. Probably because our snow is fake, our food is fake, our water's fucking fake. In this world.
That snow's not even
snow.
melting. It's not even
If you guys
melting.
live somewhere else,
Snow is
getting
fake?
snow, do the same thing. Tag me in that shit. I'll throw it on my story.
So first, it's celebrities not being who they really are. Some saying clones, some are saying impersonators. Then we later find out that Big Macs aren't really made of what they seem to be made of, but they're actually not even flammable to begin with. Now we're saying that ice is plastic and snow is plastic, and it's not what we really think it is. What is this world becoming into?
When
That's
someone
crazy.
named Vlad is telling us about vampires, I think we should listen to them.
Столетиями набивать брюхо человеческой плотью, а карманы деньгами. Но они должны понять, что бал вампиров заканчивается.
Putin, can you pick me up from school? I'm scared. Yeah, this is my driver. Yeah. I didn't know that Putin would be the good guy in 2026. Our common enemy is vampires. Banana. Whatever.
ChatGPT came out with a web browser, and schools are screwed. It's called Atlas, and the layout is pretty familiar. You've got your tabs, your URL, what you're working on, and then off to the side, a ChatGPT tab. You can ask it questions, and you don't need to give it more context because it can see what you're working on. Wait, so does that mean I can open my homework and then tell it to read the whole page and give me the answers? Yeah. Or you could just tell it to do it for you. You see this blue glow? That means agent mode is on, and everything that's happening on the screen is being controlled by the AI. Like right here, it's reading this recipe and then shopping for all of the ingredients by itself. And they tried to put in safeguards like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do graded assignments or assessments. But it's very easy to trick. You just say it's for practice and it'll do it for you.
Scientists just discovered a brand new species of a dinosaur deep in the Sahara Desert, and they're saying that it was a 40-foot predator that they're now calling the hell heron. This is obviously insane that we're discovering brand new dinosaurs in 2026, but they're saying that a team of 20 paleontologists just drove off-road deep in the Sahara Desert. They say that they drove for 3 days straight to reach one of the most remote fossil sites ever found. A guy that was local to the area actually drove them deep into the desert where he's seen massive bones sticking out of the sand, and what they found was obviously an entirely new species. They were able to pull out not only just the jaw fragments, but also teeth and 3 different massive sword-shaped heads, which were the tallest of any dinosaur ever discovered. They were actually able to assemble the skull digitally on a laptop that they had that was powered by solar panels in the middle of the desert, and that's whenever they realized what they just found. They're saying that this brand new dinosaur probably lived around 95 million years ago when the Sahara Desert was actually a forest full of trees. They're saying that this thing was the size of a T-Rex, it was 40 foot long, and it weighed up to 7 tons. Dude, the researcher that discovered this called it the expedition of a century. Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick pause. So far, we've watched a lot of clips. I want to know which one has stood out to you the most. While we're here, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
In restricted warfare, just kind of the idea of psyops. So there were these 2 Chinese military colonels. They were trying to figure out, like, how can you beat an adversary that is militarily and tactically and financially superior? So these 2 guys wrote this whole plan called unrestricted warfare, and it ended up getting published, and you can buy a copy on Amazon. If you can't beat them externally through conventional means, you have to launch a plan to defeat them from within. First, you erode trust in basic social institutions. The idea of family, it could be the church, it could be the government, it could be the military, it could be law enforcement. If you slowly start to erode that trust, that can actually turn into an adversarial relationship.
And then you want to make people confused about what is real and what is not real, and let the people of a country not even be able to determine truth from misinformation. And then you want to tribalize people. And this goes beyond partisanship.
Yeah.
This goes into making people very worried about their own neighbors beyond politics.
In the West, there's like an algorithm like self-harm.
Yeah.
But in China, they're like pushing like math and science and like all these different
Engineering
videos on there.
I think it's going to dark. Actually talk about how can you inspire violence and social unrest and assassins and things like that.
We still have no signs. We're doing good. So
Yeah,
everyone keep an eye out for any of these signs. If you see it, say something.
Starting next week, the Israeli military will be monitoring and controlling community guidelines on TikTok. Yes, that sounds very crazy, but Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok, has designated Israel's 8200 division to run the community guidelines on America's largest platform. Larry Ellison is one of the world's richest men and the single biggest donor to the Israeli military. And they have altered their community guidelines back in September that will ban you for anti-Israel, anti-Semitic content. And if you're wondering who will be judging you on what is anti-Israel, well, that's no other than the Israeli 8200 Special Forces Intelligence Unit, which is literally made to combat and promote propaganda in the Middle East. So, when is TikTok turning into a big propaganda tool? Well, within 7 days is whenever the new community guidelines go into effect. America's biggest social media application has been hijacked by a foreign country. Comment your thoughts, follow me, and share to spread the word.
What would you do if 2 hours of your life just vanished? This creepy true story comes from Mike. When he was 12 years old, he was at a football game at the local high school. He wanted to be home in time for a TV show that started at 9:30 p.m., so he and a friend left with plenty of time to make it back. As they were walking home, just minutes away from his house, the entire sky lit up bright orange. The whole sky glowed for a few seconds, and then it went completely back to normal. Mike and his friend both saw it and were completely confused about what had just happened. Mike walked in his front door expecting to catch the TV show, but instead his parents were standing there, furious. "Why are you out so late?" asked his mom. Mike was confused. He had left early. Then his mom pointed to the clock. It was 11:30 p.m. More than 2 whole hours had passed, and he had absolutely no memory of them. Over 30 years later, Mike was out camping in the woods when 3 owls began circling his campsite and behaving strangely. Suddenly, a voice entered his head that didn't feel like his own. It told him that the owls are connected to that experience that he had when he was a child. Mike would go on to spend decades researching the strange connection between paranormal encounters and owls. And what he uncovered was far bigger and stranger than he could have ever imagined.
Is Selena Gomez a victim of soul swapping?
I'll switch your wife out and I'll put another one of your wife inside of her body. And they're walking around and you think that's your wife and it's not your wife. This is what's going on. It's no longer, like I said, it's no longer spiritual. We figured out how to, turn into spirit and exchange the soul in order to control the vessel. So if I have the vessel and I'm just nothing but spirit, I can ruin your life. That's what everybody has been going through.
It's almost as if there is a show about this.
Stay weird.
Oh, wait. There is.
TMZ and Jim Carrey's publicist have cleared up the rumors. They say it really was Jim Carrey. I bet they're also going to say that, like, he switches hands when he signs signatures, because he was seen signing that signature with the wrong hand. And also his signature can change because that can happen with age. And I'm sure they're going to say he just had a little bit of work done, even though Jim Carrey's been very vocal about not having work done. But TMZ and Jim Carrey's publicist, they said so. They said so. So they just want us all on the internet to drop it and act like we didn't see that. Because remember, we're not supposed to believe our eyes. That's something we're never, ever supposed to believe is our eyes. We're supposed to believe exactly what the media tells us. Does this clear it up for anybody else? No? You still? Yeah? Okay, let me know.
So for some reason, everyone is starting to do water mukbangs, and it's safe to say it's only getting worse. If you haven't heard, people are literally taking videos of themselves eating water and ice like it's a full course meal. Not to mention, people are going as far as dyeing the water blue just to make it look like it's more refreshing. And I guess people are buying different water brands like Fiji, Evian, and Saratoga just to see which one tastes better. The funny part about this is everyone is buying all these different water brands, but of course no one is buying Dasani. All I know is if you do end up buying Dasani, never leave it in a hot car for more than 24 hours.
Starting next week, the Israeli military will be monitoring and controlling community guidelines on TikTok. Yes, that sounds very crazy, but Larry Ellison, the new owner of TikTok, has designated Israel's 8200 division to run the community guidelines on America's largest platform. Larry Ellison is one of the world's richest men and the single biggest donor to the Israeli military. And they have altered their community guidelines back in September that will ban you for anti-Israel, anti-Semitic content. And if you're wondering who will be judging you on what is anti-Israel, well, that's no other than the Israeli 8200 Special Forces Intelligence Unit, which is literally made to combat and promote propaganda in the Middle East. So, when is TikTok turning into a big propaganda tool? Well, within 7 days is whenever the new community guidelines go into effect. America's biggest social media application has been hijacked by a foreign country. Comment your thoughts, follow me, and share to spread the word.
Serving us milk at school.
Dude.
Do you know what I found out about that shit?
Oh, here we go. This guy's gonna do Lunchgate.
Bro,
Uh-oh.
this is crazy. So apparently they had like made a deal with a bunch of like dairy farmers or something like that. And they had an excess amount of milk that like these farmers had to get rid of, that they made like this crazy deal with them or something.
And they made hella money off of that?
They made hella money off of it, and they had to get rid of all this milk somehow. So they made it into our food pyramid that we had to have a certain amount of milk in our diet. I swear to God, that's the reason why milk was such a big
part of it.
Part of the pyramid, of the food pyramid, was that they had pretty much made deals with these dairy farmers that they had to get rid of all this milk, and that's the reason why they would serve it at all the schools.
Man,
think about it.
Propaganda commercials, nigga, milk baby, make your bones strong
all
like
that,
crazy.
all that, and it's like, why not just serve us water?
Yeah,
it would be a lot cheaper making us get cardboard, carton fucking milk,
creating it. Yeah,
they said the reason why they do this is because they say that cow milk has a lot of mucus and blood cells in it from the cow, and that when humans drink it, it like weakens our immune system and gets us sicker.
Really?
And that's the reason why they'll serve it to us as young as like elementary school, preschool, to get our bodies used to it.
And then they pump us straight to the pharmaceutical companies.
There we go.
Mike, the pipeline is insane.
You know what I'm saying?
And then the pharmaceutical companies pass us to the graveyards.
There we go.
And that's a big company too, because you got to pay for all of that shit.
That's why they said that the government made this deal with these dairy farmers back in the day.
Yeah.
To keep us sick, to keep us in the pharmaceutical companies, to keep more money in their pockets.
Dude, you know what's even crazier too? They'll probably just traffic your corpse.
Breaking news, Israel has accepted their defeat and is signing the Gaza peace deal. Today, the Israelis have accepted the ceasefire and Palestine has won the Gaza war. Thousands of Palestinian prisoners will now be released from Gaza, and all of the Palestinian fighters will be granted immunity. All Palestinians will be freed and zero punishments. And the best part, Israel must leave the Gaza Strip facing a humiliating defeat. Fighting 2 years and they're not being able to annex or govern Gaza. The Palestinians will. This is after forced pressure from President Trump, as the Israelis did not want to accept this defeat. Alienating themselves from the entire world, everyone is recognizing Palestine, and the Israeli army has been defeated once and for all. Members of Netanyahu's government are already threatening to resign because of this disastrous defeat. Israel has surrendered to the Gazans, and the Palestinians have done the unthinkable and defeated Israel. Follow for more updates.
Here's a creepy video from the internet for you to be scared of.
Van a las 3 de la mañana, cabrón. Mírala, jugando memes como siempre. Chicas, no mames, no mames, mira esa madre. No mames. Si verga es eso.
Makeup artist named Alex Stone claims that was him as Jim Carrey, showing a mask in one photo. But some people think he's just trolling. What do you think?
Kenneth Copeland actually the one playing Jim Carrey in this clip where everyone's like, that's not Jim Carrey? I mean, once you see it, you can't really unsee it here, guys. I mean, the eyes never lie, guys. This is old Jim Carrey. This is new Jim Carrey here. People are saying a clone, but it could just be some sort of mask. Certainly very interesting indeed. The same eyes too. Those eyes just don't lie. Let me know what you think about this crazy conspiracy theory in the comments down below. Of course, this is just for entertainment purposes only. Don't forget to like, share, and follow for more hidden truth. Peace and love.
Quick question for MAGA. Can any Trump supporter actually look at this photo and tell me you think he looks healthy? This was Trump at the Kennedy Center the other day, and he looks terrible. I mean, he looks like he has an 105-degree fever. Or what about this photo from the same night? Does this look like peak human fitness, as MAGA claims that Donald Trump embodies? Do the Trump supporters not care about the major bruising on his hand that he is now covering up with makeup and bandages? Or what about all of the different photos of him falling asleep in front of the entire country? Here's one, here's another from that same day. Here's video footage of Donald Trump trying to stay awake in the Oval Office while an event is going on. He's doing everything in his power to keep his eyes open, and the sleep is beating him. He's not winning that battle. Or what about this photo at his golf club recently? I mean, are you are you kidding me? Or what about when his face was drooping on one side earlier this fall? This is a real photo. MAGA can come up with all the excuses they want, but we're not buying it. This guy is not healthy. He's not all there, and there's something.
Hillary Clinton just wrapped up her hours-long testimony on Congress's Epstein investigation. And before this testimony with the House Oversight Committee, Clinton posted this long statement on social media, basically saying that she has no information on Epstein's criminal activity and that she doesn't even recall ever encountering him. And it's a little confusing why Congress decided that it was such a priority to question her, because she's only in the Epstein files about 700 times, and almost all of those files are articles about her running for president. Again, Hillary Clinton has said that she doesn't remember ever meeting Epstein and has only met Ghislaine Maxwell a few times socially, although it is important to note that Ghislaine Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's wedding and a few Clinton Global Initiative events. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, has acknowledged being on Epstein's private plane at least 4 times. We remember seeing him in all of these weird photos in the Epstein files, and he was in Epstein's 50th birthday book that featured close friends. But even still, neither of the Clintons were accused of any wrongdoing from anything in the files or by victims. Yet Congress still threatened to criminally prosecute them for contempt if they didn't testify. And that would basically include up to a $100,000 fine and a year in prison, so here we are. And of course, people who are in Trump's current administration who are mentioned in the files are just not being questioned, like RFK Jr., Howard Lutnick, First Lady Melania Trump, and of course, President Trump, who is reportedly mentioned in the files 1 million times. But instead, lawmakers are today focusing on Hillary Clinton. And it's just such a shame that after 8 years of being a senator, 4 years of being Secretary of State, and running for president twice, she is again being attacked and forced to answer for her husband's relationships. The House Oversight Committee chairman said that questioning the Clintons would help Congress, quote, strengthen laws to better combat human trafficking. But last year, the State Department actually cut 70% of its office that monitors and combats trafficking, so it's hard to believe that's why they forced the Clintons to testify. Bill Clinton will be questioned tomorrow, and apparently all of these transcripts and video depositions will be available in the coming days. The newsgirls will obviously go through it all and report on what we find, so make sure.
Admitted that there are over 15,000 asteroids that are big enough to destroy an entire city that are floating around Earth right now, and they don't know where they're at. So NASA's head of planetary defense just stood in front of a room full of scientists and said, what keeps me up at night is that the asteroids that we don't know about. Okay. That is literally the person that is in charge of protecting the Earth, and that's what he's saying. Basically, this is what the entire thing means. NASA estimates that about 25,000 asteroids near Earth are at least 140 meters wide, which are big enough to destroy an entire city. And by the way, they've only found 40% of those, so there's a ton left. That means that 15,000 are just out there flying around completely untracked. We don't know where they're at. They think that most of these asteroids are actually hiding behind the sun's glare, so we can't even see them with our telescopes. They are literally using the sun as a hiding spot. They're better at strategy than we are. Back in 2022, NASA actually proved that they could deflect an asteroid by slamming a spacecraft into one. It worked. But the scientist that led that entire thing just admitted himself that they don't have another one ready. If something just randomly decided to head towards us right now, we have zero defense. We literally used our one bullet as a demo. Does it bother you that we basically found 40% of the asteroids and just said good enough?
So Trump is literally rotting on live TV today, bro. He looks like he has cordyceps like a Last of Us zombie, bro.
Is Selena Gomez a victim of soul swapping?
I'll switch your wife out and I'll put another one of your wife in her side of her body. And they're walking around and you think that's your wife and it's not your wife. This is what's going on. It's no longer, like I said, it's no longer spiritual. We figured out how to, turn into spirit and exchange the soul in order to control the vessel. So if I have the vessel and I'm just nothing but spirit, I can ruin your life. That's what everybody has been going through.
It's almost as if there is a show about this.
Staying weird.
Oh, wait.
Bro's just no
There
reaction.
is.
Hold on. So what I'm hearing is that Selena Gomez is a victim of having her soul swapped. How is this even a thought to any of our minds? How does someone even come up with the idea of swapping someone's soul? I really need to go deeper into this topic and figure out more, because there has to be more. How is this even possible? Please let me know what your thoughts are down below. I will be reading every comment.
The iceberg that sunk the Titanic strikes again. This is it right here. And this time it took out a herd clan of penguins. And the ironic thing is you can see like a Jack and Rose up there at the top just hanging on for dear life, much like they did at the top part of the Titanic barge when it was sinking. Scientists have been tracking this iceberg ever since they identified it 15 years ago, because they came across it and it had a bunch of paint chips that were worn off on it. And when they looked at the protein fiber strands of the paint underneath a microscope, they were able to match it to the exact paint job of the Titanic. And so they've been following it. It's been melting under the sun rays, the ice capsulages have. So it's a lot smaller, but it's struck again, as I said. A lot of these penguins did not pull through and make it, so it's super sad. And one guy said that when things happen twice, they usually happen a third time. So now they're trying to decide, do they like blow it up and just get rid of it for good, or do they just let it continue to float out there in the ocean? What do you think?
Wild breaking news. An hour ago, apparently the Leaning Tower of Pisa finally fell down, and it just barely happened, so footagers of it hasn't hit the news stations. I'm going to post, my friend was there and he filmed it, and I'm going to post the footage as soon as he said he's going to send it to me, but I'm told that at least 5 people have died of fatality deaths from the falling columns, and they said it's just laying on the grass there. It's quite sad. Leonardo da Vinci told us for years this was going to happen, and it finally did. We should have listened.
Have you guys heard about Gandalf the Wizard of the Dominican Republic? This is him right here. His name is Pablo de Jose Castillo de Lara is his full name. And he saw the Lord of the Rings, and he was like, I think every shire, is what he said, being cute, needs a wizard, Gandalf the Grey. And so he started using his life savings, and instead of getting ready for retirement, using it to buy fireworks, which they say cohetes down there. And he lights them off all the time and makes the little kids of the town laugh, who he calls his little hobbits. And it just goes to show you that human beings seek deeper connection, and I wish we could all be more like this.
Why did we all have this pink medicine as a kid? At first, I thought I was the only one. Come to find out, we all had the same medicine? And I remember drinking more than I had to of this medicine because it tasted so damn good. And I don't know what this medicine is for, why we all took it, or where it went, because it just disappeared. Like, I swear everybody has the same memory, because there's no way we all
knew what
had
they were
this.
doing.
Send this to your friend.
Have you heard the reports that there are a ton of spherical objects traveling around the Amazon rainforest? Not the company, but the rainforest in Brazil. And they're everywhere, and they seem to be mapping it out and monitoring it. And so I caught wind of this, and Dr. Demi and I went down last week, and we wore camouflage. We did go to Cabela's and bought some camouflage, and we got a camcorder, and we filmed this one. And so it is real. I can confirm that. And what was scary is, like, if we would move, it would stop in place, and as if it was scanning to try to find us. And the crazy thing is this: we brought a pulsating pulsator, and we pulsed it with photon protein fiber beams, and it took it down, and so it stopped working. We got one of them, and what's insane is that in the middle of it, when we cracked it open, there were mechanicals in it, but there was biologics. At the center of it, biologic, and it's going to blow your mind. I'm going to show you in part 2 what those biologics looked like, but they are non-human, and now we need to figure out why they are in the Amazon.
Jesus! Jesus!
Video shows a man who tried to shoot a pastor for no apparent reason, but his gun jammed. Everything happened in this church after the man and the pastor briefly argued about whether God truly exists.
Whoa. Different kingdom than God. And God they chose.
During the argument with the pastor, he asked to come closer to prove God does not exist, then tried to fire, but the gun jammed.
What the heck?
A few people jumped in to disarm him, and what he wanted to prove, that God could not stop a bullet, did not happen.
A blood moon peaked at 3:33 in the morning on the third day of the third month, and
They're way
social
too
media
calm.
pages are going crazy with this. And they're saying how the occult is going to use this because of the symbols and the numbers. The occult loves numbers. They love patterns. They love attaching power to symbolism. 333. But here's the truth. The occult doesn't own the number 3. God does. 3 represents the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. 3 represents the amount of days that Jesus was in the tomb before the resurrection. The enemy doesn't create signs and wonders. He hijacks what God already made. Genesis says the sun and the moon were created by God, not for sorcery, not for divination, but for seasons and for signs under his authority. So if someone tells you 333 means portals are opening, energies are shifting, or any other garbage associated with that, just relax, because the devil cannot create anything. He just counterfeits what God made. And the Bible says the heavens declare the glory of God, not the power of darkness.
Howard Lutnick needs to be removed from office. This image is going viral of him and Epstein walking the island. I initially thought it could be AI, but according to Grok, this is in fact a real image. An image that has been completely scrubbed from the DOJ website. But fortunately for us, it's been added to the jmail.world website where it's completely viewable for you. It absolutely blows my mind that this guy is still standing side by side with the President of the United States. Howard Lutnick has to go.
Wait. Megan Fox and her husband drink each other's blood. You got to hear this.
Megan Fox drink each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul.
Leviticus 17 says the life of the flesh is in the blood. God strictly forbade consuming blood because it represents...
Hillary Clinton just wrapped up her hours-long testimony on Congress's Epstein investigation. And before this testimony with the House Oversight Committee, Clinton posted this long statement on social media, basically saying that she has no information on Epstein's criminal activity,
Why is
and
that
that
not
she
a
doesn't even
conversation
recall ever encountering
that we're
him.
having?
And it's a little confusing why Congress decided that it was such a priority to question her, because she's only in the Epstein files about 700 times, and almost all of those files are articles about her running for president. Again, Hillary Clinton has said that she doesn't remember ever meeting Epstein and has only met Ghislaine Maxwell a few times socially.
Only 700
although it is important to note that
No
Ghislaine
way.
Maxwell was at Chelsea Clinton's
That's
wedding
it?
and a few Clinton Global Initiative events. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, has acknowledged being on Epstein's private plane at least 4 times. We remember seeing him in all of these weird photos in the Epstein files, and he was in Epstein's 50th birthday book that featured close friends. But even still, neither of the Clintons were accused of any wrongdoing from anything in the files or by victims. Yet Congress still threatened to criminally prosecute them for contempt if they didn't testify. And that would basically include up to a $100,000 fine and a year in prison, so here we are. And of course, people who are in Trump's current administration who are mentioned in the files are just not being questioned, like RFK Jr., Howard Lutnick, First Lady Melania Trump, and of course President Trump, who is reportedly mentioned in the files 1 million times. But instead, lawmakers are today focusing on Hillary Clinton. And it's just such a shame that after 8 years of being a senator, 4 years of being Secretary of State, and running for president twice, she is again
1
being
million
attacked and forced to
times.
answer
That's
for her
insane.
husband's relationships. The House Oversight Committee chairman said that questioning the Clintons would help Congress, quote, strengthen laws to better combat human trafficking. But last year, the State Department actually cut 70% of its office that monitors and combats trafficking, so it's hard to believe that's why they forced the Clintons to testify. Bill Clinton will be questioned tomorrow, and apparently all of these transcripts and video depositions will be available in the coming days. The news girls will obviously go through it all and report on what we find, so make sure to...
Let me just get this straight. Hillary Clinton is stating that they have no clue who they are. But they know Glenn, they barely know her. They know her so little that they even went ahead and invited her to a wedding. She was only mentioned 700 times. Don't worry, there's nothing I'm hiding. Seriously, why is no one digging deeper?
Andrew Tate fans will claim that he is their god, even after his back-to-back essay allegations. Andrew Tate currently has 4 criminal cases and 4 civil lawsuits open against him in 3 different countries. In Romania, Andrew Tate and his brother are entangled in a human trafficking and grape case. There are over 30 victims currently being investigated. In Romania, there's also another ongoing investigation that involves trafficking minors, essaying a 15-year-old girl, and money laundering.
You said this, in general, this is also one of the reasons men find youth attractive. You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right effing now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25-year-olds is because they've been through less dick. People say, oh, you can't say that, but yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been effed and dumped more times, more arguments, more mess, more for me to clean up. That is misogyny. Why? Because you are encouraging a mindset about 25-year-old women that makes them sound out to be infinitely less desirable than 18, 19-year-olds, and having effectively been having too much sex to be taken in a more respectful way.
In the United Kingdom, Andrew faces 10 charges involving grape, human trafficking, and worker-related crimes. In the UK, in June of 2026, allegedly, there is going to be a trial where 4 women are suing Andrew Tate for SA and physical abuse. In the USA, Andrew Tate's ex-girlfriend filed a lawsuit against him for SA and battery. In a civil case, a victim stated that Andrew strangled her. Then, Andrew straight up admitted that he may have put a hand on her neck. I could keep going on and on about how evil this man is, but he will continue to have a massive cult-like following no matter what I say. But what do you guys think about all this?
Now that the bruising is showing up on both of his hands, it reminded me of another world leader who recently logged off for the last time. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. Not long before she passed away, she started showing significant bruising on both of her hands. There's a good shot of the opposite hand. The same bruising can be seen here. I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 14 years experience treating geriatric patients with multiple chronic health issues, just like this lady and our current president. She was 96 when she passed away, and her death certificate said the cause of expiration was old age. So here we have our president displaying this symptom at the age of 80. And wouldn't it be just a fucking shame if old age caught up to him too? Now, I still believe that the bruising on his hands is because they're using those veins as an IV infusion site, most likely for IV diuretics. Or is it a symptom of mortal fragility? I don't know. Like, just to be real honest for a second, y'all know there's gonna be dancing in the goddamn street all over the world, right? Like, every legacy news outlet is going to be covering the celebration. I've said it before and I'll say it again, with all the medical symptoms that seem to be piling up for him, frontotemporal dementia, possible history of stroke, TIA, heart failure, chronic kidney disease, I'd say he's got roughly 2 to 4 months left in the land of the living. Or just until he cannot hide the fact that he can't be the president anymore, no matter how much MAGA wants it. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Guys, the world now has a 3,000-mile war zone. You see, if you map all of the countries dragged into this Iran war by one form or another, starting at Cyprus, stretching all the way down to Pakistan and Afghanistan, who have declared open war last week, that's roughly 3,000 miles of continuous conflict areas. Journalist Richard Engel from Sky News explained it very well.
There was now war from Israel all the way to India.
For perspective, that's a distance further than the entire stretch of the United States. Now, to clarify, that doesn't mean that every country is an all-out battleground, but it does include all of the nations directly or indirectly dragged into this ongoing conflict in the region. And they said 26 was going to be the new 2016.
So if I ever shave my face again, you'll know.
Lifting.
It's not our world.
None of this is real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour.
Sometimes people think if something knocks on your window, it's just a branch or an animal. That's a mistake. If you hear 3 taps on your bedroom window after midnight and you live on the 2nd floor, do not go to the glass. First, do not turn on the lights in your room. Light turn you into a silhouette. Silhouettes confirm location. Stay low, stay quiet. Second, do not pull the curtain back immediately. Most people do. They want to prove it's nothing. If it were a branch, it would scrape. If it were a wind, it would repeat randomly. 3 slow taps mean timing. If the tapping stops the moment you sit up, that means it saw you move. Third, grab your phone, but do not use a flashlight. Open the camera and switch to front-facing mode. Hold it towards the window without exposing yourself. If you see a shadow standing still at your height on the second floor, leave the room immediately. Do not open the window. Do not yell. If you hear the tapping move from the glass to the wall beside it, that means it's testing structure. If the tapping continues but you no longer hear the impact, that means it's closer than the window. Remain silent until dawn. If you hear one final tap right before sunrise, that means it waited. If something knocks on the second floor window with no ladder in sight, it didn't climb up. It was already up there.
Let's take a short pause. If you're still watching, thank you, it means a lot. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And while you're still here watching, please remember it does get darker for the other half of the video.
So someone actually got video of what it looks like inside the BBC News office. And before I show you the video, I'm just gonna let you know now, it's actually insane. I kid you not, I counted the monitors. Each employee has 15 screens up and running, all at once. Honestly, it's very impressive. I did not know setups could get this crazy, and 15 monitors for the news makes a lot of sense. And I gotta know, is this overkill? People in the news industry or people who know any news people, is this way too many monitors? We got 15 up. I feel like they could probably get by with 3. But I'm not the expert, so let me know in the comments below and follow me for more interesting videos.
Her friends were hiding a sinister secret about what really happened to her in Cabo. 25-year-old Shanquilla Robinson was on a trip in Cabo with 6 of her friends. This is when Shanquilla's mother, Salamandra Robinson, got a call from one of Shanquilla's friends saying that Shanquilla had passed away from alcohol poisoning. Shanquilla's friends that were on the trip visited Salamandra almost every single day, comforting her about the loss of her daughter. This was until a video was released of one of the girls on the trip, Dejanay Jackson, brutally beating Shanquilla.
Look, can you at least fight back? No. At least something. At least fight back, something. Get up, bro, get up!
In this video, Shanquilla is fully nude, not fighting back, and it seems like her friends are just standing around watching Shanquilla take non-stop blows to the head. A housekeeper found Shanquilla unconscious on the bathroom floor, and her friends still did not care. 7 hours after the fight, one of Shanquilla's friends finally called a doctor. The doctor spent 3 hours trying to convince Shanquilla's friends to take her to the hospital. The doctor even said that if money was the issue, some hospitals would take Shanquilla in for free. Shanquilla's friends still refused to take her. Shanquilla's friends finally called an ambulance when Shanquilla started having severe seizures. But at that point, the paramedics could not save her, and Shanquilla ended up passing away. Shanquilla's autopsy report shows that Shanquilla did not pass away from alcohol poisoning like her friends said she did. She passed away from severe neck and spine injuries. All of Shanquilla's so-called friends collectively came up with a lie to cover up Shanquilla's unaliving and then returned to the USA scot-free. No one was arrested for unaliving Shanquilla, but her mother, Salamandra, is still fighting for justice for her daughter. Dejanay Jackson changed her name to Amani Green, as if that would help her hide from anything. Something that really hurts me is the fact that Khalil Cook, who was Shanquilla's best friend of 5 years, who used to join Shanquilla's family on their vacations, helped cover up Shanquilla's unaliving. What do you guys think about this case?
This is why everyone is suddenly throwing away all of their glass straws. So a woman online a few days ago made a video talking about how she was using a glass straw and a piece of it broke off and she ended up swallowing it. Now, she ended up rushing to the hospital where they ended up doing scans and found that there was actually a shard of glass that had broken off the bottom of her straw while she was stirring her coffee, and it was inside of her stomach. Now, the reason that she even went to the hospital is because a couple hours after she felt herself swallow the glass, when she burped, it had started to cut open her insides. And by the time they went from the CAT scan to the actual surgery table, they found that the glass shard was no longer in her stomach. It had move through her intestines. And that's when the doctors told her basically there was nothing they could do and she needed to monitor herself every time she went to the bathroom and go back to the hospital if the piece of glass does any more damage. And after a few days, she said that she just stopped checking the bathroom and stopped checking the toilet because she figured that it had already passed. But she said she had no other complications, but this has caused everyone to start to rethink their glass straws and how dangerous they might be.
Chobani causes cancer, like the gut healthy yogurt Chobani. They cause cancer. Allegedly, Chobani's being sued because they've been putting harmful amounts of chemicals into their yogurt and then not telling their customers about it. Chemicals like phthalates. So phthalates like the microplastic? Yeah, those ones. When I googled what phthalates can do to the body, it said that phthalates can cause things like liver disease, kidney disease, and potentially cancer. Insane. Basically, Chobani's not being sued for causing cancer. They're being sued for misinformation because they have been marketing their yogurt as the most gut healthy on the market.
Okay, McDonald's just showed everybody how you handle a PR nightmare. In case you missed it, their CEO has been going extremely viral for this awkward taste test video, where he tries their new Big Arch Burger but takes a really small bite and calls it the product multiple times. Everybody's making fun of it, saying he's so robotic and out of touch. And Burger King even posts their CEO taking a giant bite out of the Whopper. Well, today is the official launch day of the Big Arch at McDonald's, and rather than ignoring all the mayhem, this is what McDonald's posts. And the caption is, "I can't believe we got this approved," which is what everybody was saying in the comments about the original CEO's video. Just a great reminder that when everybody is talking about you on the internet, the best thing you could do is let them know that you're in on the joke, because it humanizes your brand. And honestly, I think sales for this might not be too bad because of all the attention it's been getting. But let me know what you guys think.
In the Epstein files, Selena Gomez was actually mentioned in an email by Epstein. What? Sorry, you would have had fun. He has decided on Selena Gomez. Now, this was a month before Selena Gomez had her almost fatal surgery. So a month before Epstein was emailing this. Theory is she did. So the theory goes, Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. Yeah. They actually had a kid. Oh, this kind of makes sense now. And guess who the people speculated is right now? Wait, hold on. I don't know. Kourtney Kardashian's son. The one that looks like Justin. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that's actually Justin and Selena's kid. And what happened actually, because Justin and Selena had a kid together, the Illuminati wanted them to the kid, but Selena did not want to do that. She said, "Sacrifice me instead." Theory was she herself, she died. And what we see now is a clone of Selena. Oh my, that's mod. So Justin Bieber, even in his music, he actually had some lyrics that correlate. I want you to know that if I can't be close to you, I'll settle for the ghost of you. I miss you more. You can't even see that. Yo, Selena sees the clone Selena. Yo, that's not her. Obviously, this is like a just theory. Yeah, but it's really, really interesting.
Have you seen the UFO footage that was leaked by the U.S. governors this week? And they're saying it's the clearest UFO footagers that's ever been seen that's ever been leaked from the government. And you can see how clear those objects are. They look discular in shapeage, and then you see these two jets coming after them. They said this was filmed by a guy named Tony Hartford, who's an oil rig operator off the coast of Florida, more temporally Tampa, Florida. He whipped out his smartphone when he saw him, and I've been able to interview with him, and he said that the governor showed up within a day, confiscated his iPhone, and he never saw it again. And now someone inside the U.S. governor has decided it's time to leak it. You can see the shadows on the water definitely confirm the authenticity of this clip. And so my question for you is, do you think these belong to the U.S. governors, or do you think this is non-human intelligence who have created these craft?
Doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. This is going to tell you how bad this really is. The CEO of the World Economic Forum has stepped down because of his ties with Jeffrey Epstein. The job of the World Economic Forum is to make the world a better place. It provides a platform for the world leaders to come together and talk. The CEO of this has resigned because he had dinners with Jeffrey Epstein around 2010, has emails and text messages with him. And it looks like all that's going to happen is he's just going to step down. And I feel like that's a problem with a lot of these people. They just go through this little humiliation ritual where they just step down. A lot of people see the messages and texts they're sending to Jeffrey Epstein, and that's pretty much it. We haven't seen many investigations, and we're seeing it today with Hillary Clinton. She's testifying and she's giving a deposition. And of course, she just said that, she never met the guy. Tomorrow is going to be Bill Clinton. That one is going to be interesting because there's a lot of pictures with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. So when we get more information on that tomorrow, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated.
What the hell do you mean Donald Trump's name is mentioned in the Epstein files more than 1 million times? Bro, they're saying that Trump's name is in the Epstein files more than God's name is in the Bible. And my question is, how is someone's name even mentioned 1 million times, period? I don't even think my parents have said my name 1 million times. And people on Kalshi are putting bread that these are going to be the people running for president next? Why the hell is Stephen A. Smith there? And the thing is, being mentioned in the Epstein files just once is not a good look. But 1 million times, he might be cooked. Send us to your friends.
Okay, hold on a second. Do you guys remember Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen? Famous, viral, household names. Everyone knew them. Funny. Well, have you seen them lately? And this isn't like a Jim Carrey thing. That's a totally different story. They went from bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to like something like their eyes are telling you that they've seen things. Like the hollow stare, like the, what's it called, 100-yard stare, the like shell shock. And my question is, with all the information that's coming out in recent months or even weeks, should we be supporting the entertainment industry in any way, shape, or form? And the same thing, by the way, happened with Hannah Montana. I mean, you could go and list them, but like that's another notable one, especially because she was such a key figure for young children growing up, loved her so much, and then all of a sudden we saw what happened to Miley Cyrus. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
Now, I will say, with all the strange deception that's going on in the world today, it is of utmost importance to be of sound mind and sound body, especially for what's coming around the corner. And right now, Chalk is giving away free $100 bags of the organic heirloom cacao from Bolivia, the Chalk Lit Powder, which is super detoxing and delicious. And if you combine that with the hot water purified shilajit, you're getting some of the most potent superfoods in the natural world. Comment free below and check your DMs.
Everybody is talking about all the celebrity news. Selena Gomez kissed Benny Blanco's feet. Some people are saying they think this is gross because he has dirty feet, and some people said this is her husband and they think that this was really sweet. Shia LaBeouf was arrested again over the weekend. During Mardi Gras, he was charged with 2 simple counts of battery. In this interview, he said that the men had touched him. He said he is scared of big gay people, and if that makes him homophobic, then that's what he is. He said he is not interested in rehab. He doesn't think he has that problem. He thinks he has a small man complex. Diddy will be released from prison sooner than expected. He was supposed to be released June 4th, 2028, but now he will be released April 25th, 2028. Megan Fox and MGK are not getting back together, even though he just commented this on her photo. He said, "Stoked, I have your phone number," and somebody commented and said, "Maybe don't cheat on her next time." Everybody thought Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet broke up because she wasn't at the Actor Awards with him, but they were just seen together and they are still dating. He brought her to a Marty Supreme event on Monday night. Hailey Bieber said her and Justin Bieber's baby was a surprise. Lou Holtz has unfortunately passed at age 89. He was a legendary Notre Dame football coach. Zendaya and Tom Holland are officially married, but they did it privately.
Have you seen this mysterious mystery clip from the Denmark? That is a country in part of the Europe, and these creature critters emerged from the ocean, and a bystander, Hans Matzen, was up top and he filmed down onto the beach. You can see he said they didn't notice him, you can see here, and he said they just continued on. One of them went back into the water, he said, but the rest went. He said the one that went back into the water looked a little timid and frightened, but the others, he said, when you looked into their eyes, he said he can see this glimmer, but it wasn't like a good glimmer. He said it was like it made him feel super uncomfortable. And so now Denmark is scrambling, trying to see where they went and who they are, but they almost look humanoid in their naturage. But I'm curious what you think, and if you were in Denmark, if you would be scared of this, or you would think this is exciting times.
McDonald's CEO is going viral for hating his own food. McDonald's just took their CEO hostage to make a video showing off their new burger. Or at least that's what it feels like, as he took tiny bites, called the burger product, and it looks like he's testifying for Congress the entire time, which is why the internet wasted no time tearing him to shreds. McDonald's is on a generational run of bad PR, and they thought throwing their CEO in front of the camera would be the transparency that they need to reverse some of that. But that's where disaster struck. Because throwing a CEO on camera isn't the instant ticket to transparency that many companies think it is. Don't get me wrong, it can work. Just look at literally any company Ryan Reynolds runs, but it doesn't feel like you accidentally stumbled into a shareholder meeting whenever he's on camera. And not every CEO can do that. Some just make you feel secondhand embarrassment, because transparency without personability will always backfire. And McDonald's just learned that the hard way.
A cloud formation is going viral. This was recorded by someone in Arizona, and many people...
In the Epstein files, Selena Gomez was actually mentioned mentioned in an email by Epstein. What? Sorry, you would have had fun. He has decided on Selena Gomez. Now, this was a month before Selena Gomez had her almost fatal surgery. So a month before Epstein was emailing this. Theory is she did. So the theory goes, Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. Yeah. They actually had a kid. Oh, this kind of makes sense now. And guess who the people speculated is right now? Wait, hold on. I don't know. Kourtney Kardashian's son. The one that looks like Justin. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that's actually Justin and Selena's kid. And what happened actually, because Justin and Selena had a kid together, the Illuminati wanted them to the kid. But Selena did not want to do that. She said, sax me instead. Theory was she's herself, she died. And what we see now is a clone of Selena. Oh my, that's mod. So Justin Bieber, even in his music, he actually had some lyrics that correlate. You can't even see that. Yo, Selena sees the clone Selena. Yo, that's not her. Obviously, this is like a but it's really, really interesting.
How are these theories even coming to life? How are we to say, number one, that Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez had a kid and somehow Kourtney Kardashian has custody of said child? Secondly, we're now speculating that she passed away during that fatal surgery when they're saying she really didn't pass away. But now there's all these rumors and these videos coming up to the surface of the internet speculating that Selena Gomez isn't actually her. Is there more to this that we are yet to uncover? Who knows?
I have some breaking news. Iran has named a new supreme leader, and it's the son of the last one, Ayatollah Khamenei. His name is Mojtaba Khamenei, and he's considered to be even more conservative than his father was. So much for regime change, because things may have just gotten even worse. He's very close to the Revolutionary Guard. In fact, they endorsed him, and he's helped oversee violent crackdowns against protesters in the past. Devastating for the millions of Iranians who have protested for change and greater freedoms, because experts say it means continuity or even a hardening of the current system. Our background on Mujtaba: he served in the military and studied Islamic theology under extremely conservative clerics. Surprisingly, he's never held elected office before, but he's long been seen as his father's successor. This makes him a bit controversial because Iran's system was never supposed to become a family dynasty, so even though he was chosen by a group of clerics, even pro-government Iranians might be skeptical of power staying in the same family. Iran hasn't formally announced the new supreme leader because they're probably waiting until after his father's burial, but it is being widely reported by the media. News Girls will be tracking this and all of the updates coming out of Iran, so follow to stay in the loop.
The United States is now bombing Ecuador. What the is going on?
Is Bill Clinton's lawyer actually his lawyer, or is she just like his handler? Because have you seen the odd interactions between the two of them? Watch this, and then we're going to talk about what I noticed.
Submitted to the record, we have a painting that seems to be of you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we are looking at an image.
Again with the creepy smiling about a painting that was in Jeffrey Epstein's house.
My question is, are you familiar with this painting? Have you ever seen it in person?
I've never seen it in person.
Ask the artist.
And if I had known Jeffrey Epstein had this painting, it would have saved me this whole day.
Now let me ask you, does that seem like a woman that is actually a lawyer, or does she seem like she is like in control of Bill Clinton? And I know maybe sometimes the lines can blur, but did you see how she tried to yank the thing away from him? She's like, don't look at that. Maybe it's because yesterday when he was shown pictures of him in a hot tub, you know the pictures, he was smiling. Like it gave him joy. Anyways, this whole trial has been very eye-opening. We haven't gotten any new information, but based on body language, what do you think? Let me know.
Terrifyingly real ghost photo taken at a frat house has always gave me goosebumps. Something seems so off about the apparition in this. So a group of guys gather around to take a photo at a frat house party. When in between these two men, there is a gray face in the gap of them. The whitish gray face has solid white eyes, black lips, and a very large smile on their face. And it's giving a very unsettling vibe. Maybe not a malicious one, just an unsettling one. The apparition has a very big gaping smile. You can actually see its teeth. The original posters of the photos said there weren't very many girls at this particular party because it was for the frat house. And the ones that attended did not look like this and weren't in the area at the time of the photo. So it really makes you wonder why this apparition decided to photobomb this. All in all, it's really creepy. What do you guys think about this? Do you think this is an apparition? Somebody sneaking into the shot? Or is it just pareidolia? Let me know your thoughts on this one. And as always, don't forget to like and follow for more. Good night.
Kamala Harris's message to Iran versus Trump's.
What's the message to Iran?
Don't.
As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly.
That's it.
One word. Pretty straightforward.
They would never listen to her.
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of them. Good. I don't care. I don't care. They've got to be stopped.
Holy dude, he does what he says he's gonna do. Follow for more political crack.